They didn't ask for your permission. They didn't need to. While you were learning how to tie your shoes, they were tying knots around your mind. Here's the truth. You didn't choose your thoughts. You inherited them. Installed like software, without consent, without question. By the time you could speak, your identity was already being shaped. By cartoons that taught you who the hero should be. By teachers who punished defiance but rewarded obedience. By parents who meant well but passed down their fears like heirlooms. This is not a metaphor. This is psychological engineering. A quiet reprogramming done in plain sight. You were not taught how to think. You were taught what to think. What's normal. What's acceptable. What's possible. Your self-worth coded into you by the reactions of others. Your limits hardwired by repetition, not reality. And now, you wonder why you self-sabotage. Why you hesitate to speak your mind. Why you feel like something's off, but can't explain it. Here's why. You are running on mental code that was never yours to begin with. Code designed to keep you agreeable, predictable, controllable. But once you see it, you can rewrite it. Because this isn't just motivation. This is deprogramming. And if you're still listening, it means a part of you already knows. Something has been hijacked, and you're ready to take it back. By the end of this video, you won't just see the system, you'll see the exit. Next, we go deeper into the exact moment your mind was first overridden. And it starts earlier than you think. Your thoughts feel like yours. But what if they were planted, not all at once, not with force, but like a whisper that became a belief, then a rule, then a cage? This is how mind viruses work. Not science fiction, not metaphor. Psychology has a name for them. Memes, not the internet kind, but contagious units of belief. Mental code designed to spread, to infect, to dominate. One infected person passes it on with a glance. A parent says, "Be good or no one will love you." A teacher scolds, "Stay in line, stop asking questions." A culture repeats, "If you're not suffering, you're not working hard enough." And like that, the virus spreads, not through blood but through emotion. Emotional contagion, fear, shame, guilt, the perfect hosts. You learn to shrink, to play small, to trade your fire for approval. Each virus carries a hidden command. Obey to survive, conform to belong. Don't think too much, don't feel too deeply. You start to confuse safety with silence, burnout with success, love with performance. But none of it is real. It's programming. A script written by systems that benefit when you stay predictable. And the worst part, you defend the virus as if it's you. This is learned helplessness, where you stop resisting because you forgot there was ever a choice. But now you remember. Now the spell cracked. You're not broken. You've been infected. And every virus has a cure. In the next section, we'll trace the virus to its source, back to the moment your emotional code was first compromised, and why you never saw it coming. It didn't start with a scream. It started with a smile, with a pat on the head, with someone older saying, "Good job, now be quiet." That was the first trap. See, when you were a child, you didn't just learn words, you learned conditions. Love came with rules. Affection came with obedience. Your worth measured by how well you fit in. Don't talk back. Be a good girl. Boys don't cry. Each phrase, a tiny incision into your identity. You were taught how to repress before you were taught how to feel. Shame became the leash. Approval became the drug. And the ones handing it out? Family, teachers, priests, not villains, but carriers of their own programming, spreading it under the banner of love. They called it discipline, but it was emotional conditioning. A quiet war on your instinct, a reward system designed to make you betray your truth. You learned to smile when you were hurting, to agree when you wanted to scream, to become who they needed, so you wouldn't be abandoned. And here's the hardest part. You started calling that personality, but it wasn't. It was survival. This wasn't education. It was early-stage self-erasure. You didn't grow up. You adapted. You made yourself small enough to be accepted. But let me ask you something. Who would you be without that programming? Not the version they sculpted. Not the mask you were praised for. The real you. Untrained. Unfiltered. Unashamed. In the next section, We begin the excavation, because buried beneath their rules is a version of you they tried to kill. There's a moment, subtle, quiet, when the virus stops being something you carry and starts being who you think you are. That's the real infection, not just belief. Ego fusion. I'm just shy. I overthink everything. I'm not a leader. No, you were told that, then rewarded for repeating it enough times that it hardened into identity. But these aren't truths. They're survival scripts. You weren't born afraid of conflict. You learned that speaking your truth made people withdraw. You weren't born uncreative. You learned that being different made you unsafe. You weren't born small. You were trained to shrink. Here's the truth bomb no one tells you. Most of your personality is a defense mechanism, not a destiny. Read that again. Because once a belief fuses with identity, you stop questioning it. You protect it. You defend your limits, as if they're sacred. You wear your trauma like a name tag. You decorate your cage, and call it just who I am. But you're not broken. You're layered. Layered in masks, in scripts, in memories shaped by someone else's fear. And once you realize this, once you feel it in your bones, you unlock something rare. The power to unfuse, to unlearn, to undesign the false self. Because you were never meant to be a passive reflection of your past. You were built for reinvention. In the next section, we go deeper into this process. How to spot these ego viruses in real time, and how to start surgically removing them before they decide your future for you. Now that you know you've been infected, let's turn on the lights. Let's name the viruses, one by one, because clarity is the first weapon. Here are the top 3 parasites controlling your decision. 1. You must be liked to be worthy. This one runs deep. It hides in your smile when you want to scream. It makes you apologize for existing. It rewards self-erasure in exchange for approval. You chase validation like oxygen, because somewhere along the line, being liked got confused with being safe. But this virus was never about love. It was about control. A well-behaved person is easy to manage. A people pleaser never says no. Security is more important than freedom. You've been taught to fear risk like it's poison. Get the job. Keep your head down. Don't rock the boat. But comfort is a cage with cushions. Security becomes your excuse to avoid evolution. They didn't want you bold. They wanted you obedient. This virus turns potential into paralysis. And it whispers, stay small. Stay safe. Apira. If you fail, you lose value. This one infects high achievers the most. You tie your worth to outcomes. Success becomes self-worth. Mistakes become identity. So you hesitate, you procrastinate, because the cost of failure feels like self-erasure. But that's the trick. This virus keeps you from trying, because trying might mean proving you're not enough. Each of these viruses serves one master. Control. Control your emotions. Control your ambition. Control your becoming. But awareness breaks the spell. And now that you've seen the infection, it's time to build your immune system. In the next section, we'll expose the tactics used to keep these viruses alive, and how the system defends itself every time you try to break free. Here's the bitter truth. Most people never wake up, not because they can't, but because they're afraid of what happens next. Because once you see the programming, you can't unsee it. And the moment you step outside it, you become dangerous, different, alone. That's the real prison. Not the code itself, but the fear of exile. You were trained to equate belonging with survival. So when your thoughts start to shift, your instincts scream, don't go too far. They'll turn on you. And they will. The system punishes escape, with silence, with shame, with isolation. Most people self-police before the world even needs to. They laugh at their own dreams before anyone else can. They shrink themselves preemptively, because standing out means becoming a target. It's called groupthink, and it rewards compliance with comfort, predictability with praise. You think you're choosing your life, but really, you're managing your image, maintaining the mask, keeping the peace. Your ego becomes your prison guard. It whispers, don't change. They'll stop loving you, so you trade your evolution for acceptance, your potential for peacekeeping. and decades pass. Comfortable, quiet, dead inside. That's the cost of staying asleep. The price of being liked over being true. So here's the challenge. If you want to escape, you must be willing to disappoint everyone who trained you. Your parents, your friends, your teachers, your past self. Because freedom isn't given. It's earned, one broken rule at a time. In the next section we shift from despair to rebellion, and you'll learn exactly how to begin the unprogramming. Now we fight back. You've seen the infection, you felt the weight of it, but knowing isn't enough. You need a weapon. Here it is, your first mental immune system, the quarantine method. 3 steps. No fluff. Just psychological warfare. Pause it. Name it. That's not you. That's old code running scared. Keep a mental log. If the thought makes you shrink, doubt or obey, it's infected. Snap a rubber band on your wrist. Whatever it takes to stop the autoplay. Because the moment you interrupt, you take back control. Step 3. Replacement. This is the rewrite. Inject the antidote. If I speak my mind and they leave, they were never mine. Safety doesn't require silence. I don't need to be liked to be powerful. Say it, feel it, repeat it, until it starts to feel like truth. Now here's the deeper layer, thought inoculation. If you want long-term freedom, you have to expose your mind to conflicting beliefs. Read what challenges you. Speak with people who don't agree. Question everything, especially the normal. This builds cognitive immunity. It makes your mind anti-fragile, stronger through resistance. This is how you stop obeying by default. This is how you escape quiet submission. Because the goal isn't perfection. It's awareness under pressure. That's real power. In the next section we sharpen it even further. You'll learn how to forge a new self, one that cannot be reprogrammed. Now we rebuild. Not who they wanted you to be, not who you were trained to be, but who you choose. With precision. This is the birth of psychological immunity. The moment your mind stops being a sponge and becomes a firewall. Here's how you start. The stories you've told yourself. I'm not enough. I always mess things up. They're better than me. They're not truths. They're just repetition. So rewrite the story. Make yourself the author, not the victim of the plot, but the architect of it. Try this. Every scar taught me how to fight. My past is data, not destiny. I am not who I was. I am who I decide to become. It means you don't outsource truth. You test it, feel it, claim it. Stop asking, is this acceptable? Start asking, is this true for me? You don't need the herd. You need alignment.